Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on November 23rd, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategies 1 and 2, the game card color code, and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 7, 15, 39, 40, and 57. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 7 was purple, the 15 was orange, the 39 was blue, the 40 was purple, and the 57 was blue. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 7 and the 40 were purple. The 15 was orange. And the 39 and 57 were blue. So now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 2 blue, 2 purple, and an orange for 3 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 390 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 3 color combination has now come up 204 times. So if you do some quick math and you divide 204 into 390, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay? And to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's my red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and whatever's left is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start in with the 7, the 15, 39, 40, and 57. The next line down is the 14, 22, 26, 55, and 63. And the last line is the 23, 26, which is already taken, the 27, 28, and 66. So again, I'm going to make these red, and now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 4, and 4 is 8, 2 is 10, and 4 is 14. So up here I'm going to make this 14. So up here it tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start with the 14, which is already taken by the red. So I'm going to move on to the 17, the 35, 38, and 60. The next line down is the 15, which is taken. The 28 is taken. So the 46, 62, and 64. The next line down is the 3. 23 is taken. So 32, 37, and 58. And the last line is the 19, 22, which is taken, 52, 56, and 67. So again, I'm going to make these orange. Now I'm going to count how many I have. So over here I got 4, and 4 is 8, 1 is 9, 1 is 10, and 5 is 15. So up here I'm going to make this 15. Okay, so I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. And this is what my game card looks like for November 23rd, 2019. Again, you can see that there was 14 red numbers, 15 orange. Turned out to be 18 green, 17 blue, and 5 purple numbers. So again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. So the strategy here with the game card is to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to make a prediction on what color group I don't think is going to come up. So to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So I'm just going to update this. Actually, I already updated it. So basically, I kept track of 431 drawings, okay? And this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So what I do here is, again, I like to break things down into 5 to see that majority. So out of this 5 drawings, you can see the majority was even numbers, 4 drawings to 1, okay? So as I go back into the history of things, I can see what's been going on, okay? So here with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 41 drawings here, you can see the majority has been really lopsided to the odd side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that. I think more numbers are going to go evens than odds. Okay, so I wrote that down already. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the 50-50 picks here and predict what's going to happen here with this high and low. Okay, so all the numbers in blue are considered low numbers. All the ones in red are considered high. Okay, so going back into the history of things, okay, you can see that it's been low, and you know, you would think that I would say, hey, I think it's going to be more to the high side, but I'm going to go a different route, and I'm going to say I think more to the low side. Okay, so you know, we're all going to look at this differently. Okay, so and what I mean by that is that we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Just to remind myself what I picked. I'm going to say more numbers to the low area than the high. So moving on to the next one. I have left and right here. And what I'm going to do is going back into the history of things. I am going to say that there's more numbers to the right side than the left. Okay, so what this means is when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking over here to this left side to eliminate numbers, because I think more numbers will be over here, of course. So in a maximum of 2 numbers over here to the left side. Okay, so I'm going to go back and write that down as well. I think more to the right side than the left. And I got one more, this red and blue area. And as I scroll down through, I decided to go with, I think, more to the blue than the red. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so now I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. Okay, so the 50-50 picks didn't really help me make my decision here to get rid of a color group. The past here did. Okay, so what I'm looking at is that purple has come up a lot recently. Okay, and it only has 5 numbers for this drawing here. So I'm going to predict that no purple numbers are going to come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block out these numbers. Okay, so again, when I block out numbers like this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1, holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Of course, it's the only group with 9 numbers where the other 6 have 10 to it. Okay, so over here, these are the winning numbers that just came up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is what this 5 means is that it hit 5 out of the 7 groups. Okay, so 7 was in this group number 1, 15 was over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to update this here. So I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 7, and now I'm going to make this purple. And I'm making it purple because the 7's purple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And again, there's 7 of these groups, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so what I decided to go with is no numbers of 10 through 19. Okay, and how you read this here is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, and the reason why I broke it down into 5 is, you'll see me do that a lot because it shows the majority of things. But here, it's a little bit different. First thing is when I read back into the history, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5. Or vice versa. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a prediction on what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it. And again, my prediction is the numbers of 10 through 19. Okay, so as you go back into the history of things, you can see that this area has been really hot. And I'm just hoping that it's going to start to cool down here. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to the game card and eliminate the numbers of 10 through 19. So here's the 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16's already gone, so 17, 18, and here's the 19. And I'll explain why that's over there in a second as I move through the game. Okay, so hopefully those numbers do not come up. All right, so basically what this is that it's a game of deduction. All right, if these numbers do not come up, then one of these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one, to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope I will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Now basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, and again, the winning Powerball numbers were 7, which is here in the blue. 15 is in the blue area. 39 is in the green. 40 is in the green, and 57 is in the orange. Okay, so there was no winning Powerball numbers in the red area. I had 2 in the blue, 1 in the orange, and 2 in the green. Okay, so when there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that no orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so I made this 94 because that means that there's 94 blue marks in this column here. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green. And the numbers that they represent are just a little bit different from each other. Okay, so I have a group 1 overview, which looks at all the color groups. Okay, so here with all the red groups, there's again 15 option cards, so there's 15 red areas. All right, so what I do is I just count where the zeros are. Okay, so in this last drawing, out of 15 option cards, there was 4 zeros like this among the 15 option cards. Okay, so what I did is I decided that a third of the option cards, if there's 5 or more zeros among 15, then I'm going to color the background blue for cold. And if there's 4 or less, I'm going to color the background red for hot. Okay, so that just gives me some separation that if I could correctly guess where a blue mark is going to pop up, okay, then I'm going to look at that color area to pick where I think the zero is going to be. Okay, so here, you can see that with this green area, you can see that it's been really hot with zeros in the last couple of drawings. Okay, so here in this blue, you can see that there's a lot of single blue marks here. So I'm hoping that it's going to double up like right here for this drawing. So I'm going to be looking at the blue areas to pick where I think that zero is going to be. Okay, so my first one is going to be number 4. Option card number 4, I think the zero is going to be right here. So I'm going to eliminate all these blue areas here off of my game card. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this is that a 1 comes up a lot. So if this 0 does come up, then I'm going to be putting a 1 right here. Okay, so like here, again, a 1 comes up a lot. And in this blue area, it hasn't come up since here. So I'm thinking that it's due to come up. And I'm looking at blue areas, so I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to go with the 3, 4, 11, 12, this pattern in all 4 squares off of my game card. Okay, so here I'm going to eliminate the 8 as well, and I'll explain why. So hopefully none of those blue numbers will come up, and that means that I hope that the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on my game card. Okay, so you can see over here to the left, I got 5 numbers over here. And as I go back to this group 1, you can see that I don't have any numbers over here. Okay, so what I wanted is I wanted this grid of 8 squares across, 8 squares down. But that's only good for 64 numbers, and there's 69 in the lottery. So I decided to pair a couple of these squares up. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25, 65, 53, 69, and the 58, 68. Okay, so if I get rid of all these blue numbers like I'm doing, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 along with all these other numbers as a group. Okay, so that's my way of grouping things up. So I'm going to move on to the next option card, where I think option card number 8, I think we'll have the 0 here. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is that there's a bunch of single blue marks here in this blue. So I'm hoping that it's time to double or even triple up. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of all these blue numbers off of my game card. So the 65 in this pattern here, the 66 in this pattern, the 36 in this pattern, and this diagonal 37 to the 64. So I'll get rid of the 25 because it shares the square with the 65, and I'll get rid of the 20. And I'll get rid of the 22, 31. And I'll get rid of the 41, 50, 59, and the 37, 46, 55, 64. So hopefully none of those numbers come up. And I'm going to move on to the next one, where I think it's going to be option card number 9, no blue numbers again. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be here again for the same reason. There's a bunch of these single zeros. I'm hoping that it's time to double up. So I'm going to go with this pattern here, the 2, 10, 19, 27, 5, 13, 23, 31. We'll start off with those. Okay, so the next one is the 60 in this pattern of 35 down to the 49, and then the this butterfly looking thing is what I call it, 38, 45, 56, 63. So I'll get rid of the 60, 42, 38, 45, 56, 63, and again, hopefully none of those numbers come up. Okay, so I'm going to go with another one here. And I'm going to go with option card number 10, no blue. And the reason why is because it's been 12 drawings in a row, 10 drawings in a row where one of these blue numbers have come up. So I'm just hoping that the 0 is going to be here. Okay, so it's the same pattern in all 4 squares, the 4, 10, 18, 28. So I'll get rid of the 28, the 32, the 54, and that's it. Okay, so again, hopefully none of those numbers come up, and I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. So much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so just another way of looking at groups of numbers, right? So the thing about this one is that I know that there's 8 color groups and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to update this as well. Okay, so again, the winning numbers were the 7, 15, 39, 40, and 57. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards as well, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. So I always like to read things from left to right, so I have 1 red number, 3 gray, and 1 yellow. So down here, the current, I'm going to, so I had 1 red. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the blue area, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange, no winning Powerball numbers in the green, none in the purple, none in the brown, 3 in the gray, and 1 in the yellow. So how many color groups did it hit? It hit 3, and the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side. So I'm going to make this 3 green. Okay, so what I like to do is, again, I like to break things down into 5. Okay, so it shows me that majority, and here you can see that the first 5 drawings in this red area, the majority was misses, so I colored the background blue for cold. And the next 5, the majority was hits, so I colored the background red for hot. Okay, so it kind of gives me some separation here, and why I do that is because when I see something like this where it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so using that, my first pick out of here is going to be green. I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all the green numbers off of my game card. And the green numbers run from the 4 down to the 60. And I'm going to get rid of the 52. So hopefully that 52 does not come up. And I'm going to move on to the next one. Option card 2, I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange, and as I scroll down, going to see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these orange numbers, the 17 to the 24. And I'll get rid of that 24, so hopefully that number does not come up. So moving on to 3, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red, and as I scroll down, I'm going to see that things got really hot through here. So I'm hoping that it's going to start to turn blue. So I'm hoping the 0 will be right there. And that's the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. So I'll get rid of the 61, 69, and the 53 because it shares the square with that 69. So I'll get rid of 3 numbers. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. 4, I'm going to go with yellow. So here's the yellow. And as I scroll down, you're going to see that things have been just really, really hot through here. So I'm hoping that it's time for a cool down. And I'll get rid of this 65 to the 28 and 61 to the 64. So I'll get rid of the 26 and 62. Hopefully those numbers do not come up. Moving on to 5, I'm going to go with red. So here's the red, and as I scroll down, I just have a gut feeling that it's going to be here. So I'll get rid of these red numbers, and that's this big circle right here. So I'll get rid of that 9. So moving on to 6, I'm going to go with red again. So you can see how hot things been here. So I'm hoping that it's time for a cool down. So it's a 3, 12, 19, 28 all the way down. So I'll get rid of that 51. Okay, so moving on to 7. I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. You can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 49, 68, 51, 60 all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 58 and the 68. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to number 8. I'm going to go with red again. So here's the red. You can see how hot things have been. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 5, 16, 21, 31. That pattern on the right side. And there's nothing to get rid of. So here's the thing with this. You know, I keep averages on everything with my game. And basically with this group 2, the average is between 3.8 and 4.2, okay? And what I'm trying to say here is that on average, for all 15 of these option cards, 4 of these colored groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these colored groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So I designed this to pick one, okay? And if there's no numbers to get rid of, then, you know, if I come back here to this option card, like let's just say I pick purple and I'm correct, and I come back to this option card again and I say, no, I don't think any green, my odds go way, way up that that second one is probably going to be wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 guess again, okay? So here with option card number 9, I couldn't make a decision. So I don't need to pick at all 15 of these if I don't want to. So I'm going to move on to option card number 10, and I'm going to go with gray. So as I scroll up, you're going to see how hot this has been here, okay? So I'm hoping it's time for a cool down, and that's a pattern of 17, 28 in all 4 squares. And there's nothing to get rid of, so I'm going to move on to the next one. And that's option card number 11. I'm going to go with orange. As I scroll down, you're going to see how hot this orange has been. So I'm hoping that it's time for a cool down. And I'm going to go with the pattern of 8, 16, 19, 27, 33, 41, 54, 62. And I'm going to get rid of that 33. So it's one more number off of the game card. So moving on to 12, I'm going to go with orange again. So I'm just hoping I have that gut feeling that it's going to be here, okay? And I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers. And it's this crescent moon that runs from the 1 to the 65 and the 37 to the 61. So I'm going to get rid of the 1. And that will bring me down to 5 numbers, okay? So the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 6, 29, 30, 34, 57. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight these. And again, I'm going to go with the 6, 29, 30, 34, 57. So, you know, I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said, it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so, you know, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? So let me go over the official odds. So the official odds to get all 5 white balls and the red ball, the grand prize, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it correct. Okay. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for that. All right. I love to win the grand prize. So the odds are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay. So in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay. So I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay. So another great prize to win would be 4 white ball numbers and the red ball. That pays 50,000, and the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so you can see that the odds are pretty steep. So I just want to give you some perspective that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so I do have a something for the Powerball number. Okay. If you get the red number correct, it pays $4, all right? And plus the power play if you play it. So there's 26 red numbers. So over here in this column, I just divided the numbers in 2. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. So over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens, okay? So why I broke it into colors is because when I see a long streak like this, a blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so looking at this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that this is going to be blue, and this is going to be red. Okay, so I think that the Powerball number is going to be a low odd number. Okay, so we'll see what happens. And this green mark means that the Powerball number repeated. So you can see this 3 came up and then it came right back up. Okay. So that's about it. So in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.